Hello everyone, welcome back to the Opulent Life, and today we will be doing another watch unboxing. But unlike other watch unboxings where we're kind of doing the watches that I kind of enjoy unboxing, today is going to be a little bit of a rant. I'm not going to be too negative, but I'll try to give you guys my most honest opinion about this watch. Today we kind of switched it up. Instead of doing a Swiss watch like we usually do, we're doing a Japanese watch, which I have reviewed before. Not this exact one, but I have reviewed made in Japan watches. You may have remembered my Bulova 96A119. It was one of my first few videos that I uploaded on this channel. But today we're doing a different brand, and it is a Seiko. Now this is basically belonging to the Seiko Presage line, and I'll show you guys from top to bottom what my thoughts are, what my views are, why I bought it. And so let's get right into it. So this is the box it comes in. Okay, it's completely white cardboard box, nothing special on it. Now I got this from Macy's, guys. Now another thing, be very careful when getting watches from department stores like Macy's. Sometimes they will not give you the exact box that it's supposed to come in. This Seiko Presage, as I'm going to show you, is basically the SSA395J1 or the Zen Garden edition of the Presage line. Now, when I got this, the lady said, "Oh, I'm going to give this to you in a nice box, a very good box, you know." I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not very familiar with Seiko boxes, so I didn't know. But this is not the exact box the SSA395J1 comes in. As you can see over here, this belongs to the SRPB 77 Presage, which is like the basic Presage, not the Presage that I'm going to show it to you, show you guys in a second. So, I mean, like, you know, be careful about what you're getting, guys. And I'm a little bit disappointed about that, but yeah, so that's the box they gave me. I'm sure it's not the exact one. The actual box that I've seen in other reviews and online is a long box in which it's supposed to come in. But this is a bracelet watch, so obviously it's not going to come in a long box, but it should still have the correct markings on it. Anyways, let's open it up, see what's inside. Okay, and so this box, inside a box, doesn't open up. You have to kind of like take it out like this. Inside you have a thrown in warranty and instruction booklet, whatever. Got the warranty card tossed in, unfilled, typical. Just has the regular instructions inside, made of tin quality paper, nothing fantastic, but I mean, this is an entry-level watch, so you can kind of expect that. However, we're gonna come to the pricing in a bit, but yeah, so this is just like, you know, what you would get in like a Timex or anything, so nothing too fancy. Just put this box aside here. So this is the inner box, a little bit better cardboard. It's not leather, kind of like the full leather stitching that you get on, you know, one of those regular boxes. Not very good finishing on the back. You can see a lot of denting and ingraining. Yeah, doesn't look very good. Anyway, so it's very plain. Just has Seiko written in silver text font on the front. Let's open this up. So you have the watch inside. Just feel the inside of the box is finished with velvet, which can easily catch dust. Just silver Seiko written on the box, this top slot here. It comes on this velvet cushion, again, very dusty. And I'm not a big fan of velvet inside boxes. It just reminds me of cheap jewelry boxes from the 1980s. Has this blue line going, I don't know what it's for. I think it's just part of their design scheme. Just blue, a little bit of contrast, but yeah, nothing fancy on the box. Let's get right to the watch. Actually, let me take this off first. Okay, so now that we've decided there's nothing to talk about the box, let's put it to the side here. And so this is the watch, guys. This is the Seiko Presage Zen Garden Edition SSA395J1. Now the Seiko Presage comes in this Presage comes in several different variations. There's a SSA395 Fuyuge Shaky version, which is kind of like with the snowflake dial, has a little bit more patterning, blued hands. This is the international edition, Zen Garden edition. So it does have that patterning if you see the dial very closely. It's not snowflake, but it does have some patterning. I'm not too impressed by it, but that's what it's supposed to resemble. It's the international edition. It's supposed to resemble Japanese flower gardens. I don't get that vibe. I don't understand the vibe, but yeah, that's what it is. So this also is owned in some of its earlier versions as the Seiko Cocktail Presage. Now that was also because some of the other dials came in a radial pattern and was a little bit more fancier than this, I must say. But this one is a little bit more plainer. It's supposed to be more icy cold, more sporty, still sports watch type. So that's why I think they kind of dropped that dial, but the main elements are pretty much the same. Now, if you look very closely on the dial, you see leaf style hands for the minute and the hour, straight hand for the seconds, and then there's another hand that is for the power reserve indicator. So this watch comes with a 4-hour 57 movement that has a 41-hour power reserve, and it's supposed to show you that power reserve with these hands over here. Now, I am not a big fan of power reserve indicators in this format. I do like power reserve indicators if they're discreetly placed and they're nicely, kind of subdued inside the dial. But in this particular style, I am not a big fan because it's kind of offset. It's not symmetrical, a little bit Bauhausy, I must say. But yeah, and as you can see, the empty is somewhere between the 12 and 1 o'clock, not perfectly centered, and there's some extra cutout that goes all the way to the 11 o'clock, which I don't understand. Right now you can see this watch is not running. It's empty according to the power reserve indicator, but there's supposed to be this extra room for this marker for the power reserve indicator to go all the way back. Now, I don't understand the purpose of that because the watch isn't running, so clearly it's empty. So why have this extra cutout? It makes no sense. It ruins the symmetry even further. Now it has markings to the 20 and 40, 41R markings to indicate how much power is left. Now, the crown, by the way, is signed with the Seiko S logo. It's not screw down, direct. You can use this for hand winding. As you wind it, you see the power reserve indicator goes all the way, which is kind of cool. It's marked with black instead of silver. The other hands are all silver, but the hand for the power reserve indicator is black to distinguish it, which is okay. I do like the fact that when you wind it, it shows you the winding mechanism going forward in real time. So we'll just set it up to 20 so you can see the movement work as well. There's a sub dial at the 6 o'clock location. That's the date wheel. That is not a seconds marker. That's the date wheel. And you move the crown to the first position. You move it anti-clockwise. It's a quick set date, so that's good. And the date wheel is slightly recessed, as is the power reserve indicator. Power reserve indicator, guys, is just a bit of an eyesore for me, to be honest. I don't like the way it's arranged. It's just not my cup of tea. There are minute markers around the chapter ring. The markers are applied, but if you see the markers up close, they don't look all that very well finished. It's I don't know if the brushing was intentional, but it just doesn't seem right, guys. I don't know. It's doesn't look very high quality. I mean, I guess at this price point I shouldn't expect too much, but I've been wearing Swiss watches a lot, and the finishing on those is just remarkable. It says made in Japan here between 6 and 7 o'clock at the bottom. I cannot read what's written between 5 and 6 o'clock. It looks like some kind of serial number, but yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. So yeah, you can see the movement it doesn't look like a high beat movement to me. I think it's revolving at 21,600 VPH. So it's decent, but it's not super smooth, not super silky. And as I mentioned, it has the 4R57 movement with a 41R power reserve, 29 joules. And some of the earlier versions of the Presage, they came with the 6R movement that had the 50R power reserve. Those were the simple ones with just the date and time only. They were a little bit thinner than this one, I believe, and honestly speaking, they looked a little bit nicer. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. What else is on the dial? We have the Seiko written at the top, Presage, automatic, as expected, nothing fancy there. Now let's look at the case. The case is 42 millimeters in diameter. It's about 14.1 millimeters thick, so it is a bit of a thick watch. It's got a mirrored polished stainless steel finish all throughout. The whole watch is stainless steel. The crown is signed, that's good. Then you have this link bracelet, has some brushing and polishing on the center links. Sorry, not the center links, but the links that are holding the chain together. But the rest is all brushed, as you can see. Now the bracelet doesn't feel particularly high quality. It's very lightweight, very chinky. So if you like hold it in your hands, you're immediately gonna feel the difference. I'm sure it's strong, but it's not as, doesn't give you that same luster or finish as an Omega bracelet or something even like a Longines or a Tissot. It's just very light, and I don't like super light bracelets. You can see you can twist and turn too easy. It's held by links, no screws. Yeah, so this bracelet is definitely not my cup of tea. So let's get the tag out of the way. Now this is what I really don't like. I don't have a problem with deployment clasps, two-way clasps, and in fact I feel they're very convenient and easy to use. But look at the thinness of this clasp here. It is literally paper thin. It is so thin. I feel that if I apply a decent amount of force, this will easily break. It is just like, it's like a paper clip, to be honest. A paper clip is this thin. And they made a clasp for this. It's supposed to be secure. And it's got some really cheap polishing, you can see. I am not impressed by this at all. The mechanism looks solid enough, I guess. Unless you like bash it around, it'll just break into pieces. I really feel that this thing is gonna break into pieces in my hand if I were to bang it around or use it a little bit roughly. It's supposed to be a dress watch, but guys, this is a Seiko. They're supposed to be like tough builds, whatever. They're not. So yeah, so mirrored finish all across on the case. What else? Their bezel is fixed, no rotation. Round shape. We have sapphire crystal, I believe. No doming. It's flat. Oh, and by the way, this has a 30-meter water resistance, so yeah, you can tell it doesn't have any screwed on crowns, so don't go swimming with it. Maybe it'll withstand some splashes, but no, don't take it diving, guys, at all. Okay, now let's take a look at the movement. So this is what a lot of Seiko fans tell me, that the movement is really nice and whatever. I'm sure it is, but there, as you can see, there's no decoration on the movement. The rotor is decorated in gold, has some design elements on it. It says Seiko Time Corp, tells you the movement, 4R57A, 29 joules, Japan. But there's no perlage, there's no decoration inside the movement mechanism itself. You can see all throughout, it's very plain. There's nothing on there. So I don't really understand when people say that, you know, it's very well decorated. It's not. There's no decoration. I mean, I don't expect decoration at this level, but come on, don't call this a decorated movement, guys. Seriously. I mean, what world are you in? There's no perlage, there's no rubies, there's literally no decorations. I would rather have the case back covered if you're gonna do that. It's not really adding to any value, in my opinion, but people like to have it. They like to see what's going on. Sure, but my expectation is if you're going to show the case back, do some work on the decoration. Look at this. There's literally, they made no effort at all to dress this up nicely. Yeah. Let's see if we can actually see the movement. Spin around. There we go. You can see that. Top sapphire crystal. So I guess the bottom is not sapphire crystal because it says top sapphire crystal only. And that just has the serial number and everything. Polishing now. Mirrored and polished finish, guys. If you bang it around too much, it's going to show scratches very easily. It's not as good as brushed, but I don't expect that at this level. Now this watch retails for around $795, guys. Oh my god, $795 for this watch. I can't believe paying that much for this watch. I would never pay that much. In fact, I didn't pay that much. I got this watch for around $487 $500 at department store. I think if I were to hunt around on Joma shop or other places, I'd probably get a better price. In fact, right now, if I were to go to Joma shop, it's listed for $399 with 50% off. And I think you can use some coupon codes to bump the price down to $380. Even at Macy's, the lady was willing to give me additional off at 20% and 15%, blah, 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 because it's Thanksgiving and there's sales going on. But honestly, I wasn't that interested. But yeah, you can get this, I think the minimum around $300, and that's pretty much how much I would be willing to pay for this watch. That's as much as it's worth. In fact, I don't think it's even worth $300. I think it's worth maximum around $200 to $250. I would not pay more than that. And why I'm disappointed, guys, is because this is supposed to be the Presage. This is supposed to be their like top end line watch. Seiko is not famous for high-end watches. I didn't expect that. But when you write, Presage, their ultimate line, their are super high-end watches, your expectations tend to raise up, and especially when your retail prices are around $800. Seiko is mostly famous for their kinetic movement, their sports watches like the Seiko SKX, the Seiko Tuna, their field watches. So, and those are even the Alpinist. They're all under 500 retail, and you can get them for maybe even less if you hunt around. Although Seiko prices have been going upwards, guys, I will say this, they're not the same Seiko they used to be several years ago. They're getting more and more expensive each day, and they're trying to differentiate their lines a little bit more. There's a super high-end Grand Seiko, which has nothing to do with this. So, and then there's the Creedor line, again super high-end, nothing to do with this. In their regular lineup, Seiko Presage and Seiko Prospects are their higher end versions. Then there's the regular Seiko. Then there's Seiko Sports, which is the lower end version. And I haven't tried the other ones on. This was my first Seiko. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm not disappointed in the brands as much because they have a wide variety of watches, and honestly, I need to test out more watches before I can pass judgment on that. I'll probably try some other ones out. But for now, the piece I have in front of me, not impressed for the price. I don't think it's a lot of value, and yeah, so not sure I'm gonna be keeping this. Yeah, so overall it feels so light in the hand. Let's put it on the wrist, see how it looks. I haven't sized the bracelet yet, but this is pretty much how it looks. It's quite big, it's 42 millimeters, and it kind of fills up all the real estate on my wrist. I'm fine with this much diameter, to be honest, because my Tissot Bridgeport is pretty much the same, but it's a much nicer watch in comparison to this one. This one I don't think I'm gonna keep it. It's supposed to be a dress watch. I'm looking for dress watches, but the asymmetrical dial, the power reserve indicator, the bad finishing on the indices, the dial doesn't work for me. The bracelet feels light and kind of terrible quality. It feels really cheap. I'm not enjoying it at all. Yeah, this overall aesthetic is not for me, and the quality is not there. Yeah, so unfortunately, guys, this is going to be one of those watches where I just keep ranting on and on, but I want to give you my honest opinion. You guys may like it. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. If it works for you, if you like it, go for it. But in my opinion, it's just not good value. And I look for value in my watches. So, I mean, if you find value in this, good for you. But it's going to be a no-no for me. So overall, my lesson for you guys is that don't just go out and buy a watch because people are telling you to buy it. Do your research, look around for alternatives, look in the same price point. If you can get a better Swiss-made, higher quality watch that fits better, looks better, works better, and feels better. Don't do an impulse buy. Be very careful at department stores for getting the right boxes. Be careful of the price. Look around, shop around, check different websites, check the department's own website also. Maybe there's a better deal out there. Don't authorized retailer shopping is ending these days. It's brick and mortar is going out of the door. Online sales are picking up. Try to go for online, see the watch in store, buy it online, search for a better deal, look for better watches. Don't buy crap like this. Honestly, you're not doing yourself any good. Later on, you're going to regret in your watch collection why I bought this. So we'll try to find another Seiko that's a little bit better because I've heard good things about it. I'm not ready to give up on the brand yet, but this particular model, not my cup of tea. I'm probably not going to review another Presage because it just doesn't look like the kind of watch I would buy. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more watch content coming your way and some other accessories and other style content coming your way as well this winter. Have a happy Thanksgiving and take care, guys. Bye-bye. Some alternatives to the watch that we just discussed, the Seiko Presage, would be the Hamilton Jazzmaster. Another good one is the Tissot Lockley Automatic. It's also a very beautiful watch, comes in the same price range. And if you don't like that, you could try the Maurice Lacroix Le Classiques. Also comes in the same price range, very nicely finished.